Something I don't think that people realize is that bodybuilders are, this is at least how I feel, bodybuilders are who you should go to for diet advice, whether that's trying to lose weight or to gain weight. And now some bodybuilders might, okay, bodybuilders in general might be a little bit too strong because some might be crazy sort of or irresponsible, but in general, maybe the more scientifically minded of them, they've really perfected weight loss and weight gain down to something of a science. Is that how you see things?
No, to be
Okay.
honest, yeah.
Okay, great.
No, and the reason is that bodybuilders operate within a paradigm of they are going to lose a whole bunch of weight and then purposely regain it back. So built into the structure of our sport is a cyclical process. And most people who are interested in weight loss are looking to break a cycle, not continue it. So the cut bulk model came out of competitive bodybuilding, where someone needs to get really, 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 really lean, and then they literally need to put that weight back on. And they get so lean that their psychology, their social systems, and their physiology is pushing every single signal that our body can to say, hey, gain weight as rapidly as you can. The main thing you care about right now is cake. So some of those tools are far more extreme, and they don't have any assumption of long-term maintenance of weight loss or adherence. And when you look at the research on weight loss, it's pretty grim when you look at long-term weight loss maintenance. Most people who are interested in weight loss are following something that kind of was inherited from the bodybuilding world. And people don't have much of an issue losing weight initially. They have a lot of struggles keeping it off. So when we look at some of the techniques and tools that have come out of the research, which are really, really good at weight loss maintenance, they are actually distinct to some degree with weight loss itself, like acceptance-based therapy, having a multidisciplinary team, in a large educational component, not necessarily just following a meal plan or following macros. I think bodybuilders are excellent at optimizing the weight loss period itself to maintain maximal muscle mass and performance, which kind of go hand in hand to some degree. So I would agree on that front. But for the average person who wants a healthier relationship with their body, food, and wants long-term weight loss maintenance, I'd say, hey, a registered dietitian probably would be my first choice versus, Mr. Ohio or something like that.
Okay, no, that's totally fair. I didn't mean to suggest that the average person should be following the cutting and bulking cycle, or that they should be trying to get down to 3% or so. But when I think about the ideal way to go from a state of overweight to a state of, say, 10 or 12% body fat, you do well to follow your book or Lane Norton or Stronger by Science, or you know what I'm saying. That's more what I had in mind. And I also totally agree that a lot of people's body issues stem from deep personal problems that talking to Mr. Ohio isn't going to help with, but a therapist will.
Yeah, and also managing where we're at in society. So bodybuilders typically live outside of typical societal norms. They have a very different way of eating. Their life revolves around training. And I remember when I was a young personal trainer, the only real solution I had, the saying of to the man with a hammer, the world looks like a nail, or the world's problems all look like nails, was, okay, well, if I make people bodybuilders, then they'll be fine. So you just need to train, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 6 days a week. You need to care about that primarily, and you need to completely overhaul your diet. And here's the list of good foods. And even when I was a little, less educated and misguided, I think I could port over more recent and more flexible knowledge, and it still wouldn't be a great fit, because the reality is that most people aren't going to completely modify what their values are and what their principal interests in life. They may enjoy working out to some degree, but I think expecting people to become bodybuilder-like is only going to be a good fit for the people it's a good fit for. And that's great for them. But I think most people need to find a way to live a little more in harmony with a environment that is not conducive to weight maintenance. We have readily available access to affordable, hyper-palatable foods. And, we can meet up and have conversations with people across the world like you and I, which is great, man. But at the same time, it also means that I can not move at all and work. I often say, like, hey, if I was a bodybuilding coach back in 1990, I would be probably in Venice Beach working 40 hours a week on the gym floor, but that hasn't been the case for a long time. When I was a full-time bodybuilding coach before I moved more into kind of the science communication and scientific support for the coaches I work with at 3DMJ, I was working 40 hours a week sitting in front of my computer. So it's very similar to when I became an academic. So it's an interesting thing to say I'm a sports coach. What do you do all day? Oh, I'm on my computer. So I think in the modern environment where we get dysregulated hunger signals from being inactive, our energy expenditure is lower because we're inactive. We have a whole bunch of cues encouraging us to eat more, and we have affordable food that tastes great. You eat food and it makes you want to eat more. That's not the way that's supposed to work, right? So I think there's a lot of chips stacked, no pun intended, against you. And I think some of the most important things that you need is to learn how to operate within that environment rather than go, right, I'm going to join a subculture that is basically saying I live separate from that. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with if you can do that, but I think it's the minority of people who can kind of emulate that bodybuilding lifestyle.